When the restaurant owner says that to me, I know that we're onto something because he's interested, because he's like, how can this be? This seems too good to be true. We've made it so easy for restaurants to work with us, yet they think that it's a scam. I am a real person. I live here in LA. I love restaurants. I love eating. I have to work out 6 days a week and do hot yoga so I don't weigh 400 pounds.
Well, I love the San Gabriel Valley.
Welcome to the My SGV podcast.
So I grew up here and I still live in Alhambra.
I was raised in between Temple City and Alhambra.
Eventually resided in South San Gabriel.
Our mission is to capture and share the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley.
Monterey Park has pretty much been my whole life.
Well, I'm proud to say that I was born and raised in the San Gabriel Valley.
We believe our diversity is what makes the SGV great. And no matter where you are from in the San Gabriel Valley, you will feel welcome. All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode of the My SGV podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new here, we bring you the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for spending your time with us. I really do appreciate it. Oh, Brian, we met through a mutual friend, and it's just sort of, I just met you last week.
Yep, exactly.
And now you're here. But
yeah,
I'm excited that you're here. And when you told me about what you do, I was like, your words were like, people think you're a scam.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's too good to be true.
Yeah. And so it still sounds too good to be true, but I really want to get into it. And mostly because like the people that you help are, my favorite subject. You help restaurants.
I do. I help a lot of restaurants.
Yeah. And not just in the San Gabriel Valley, but all over Southern California.
All over Southern California, Metro LA, Torrance, Lomita, Long Beach, all the way up to Santa Barbara, out to Palm Desert, Palm Springs.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah. I meet all people, all walks of life.
Yeah, I'm sure you've sat across from tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And everybody's got a different story, which is why you can never read everybody's different.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of experience you can't take a course for.
No, you can't.
Sure. Well, before we get into that, though, thank you to Paris Baguette for sponsoring the delicious pastries every week for our guests. Every time we give them out, they're like the whole box. And yes, it's the whole box for you. You get to enjoy after the show. Go check them out in the city of San Gabriel on Las Tunas and say hi to Jason and Joanna for us.
Wonderful. Thank you.
He's lived in Carlsbad, Del Mar, Leucadia, Pasadena, and now North Hollywood. But his journey started in Phoenix, Arizona, where he grew up before heading off to Northern Arizona University. After college, he carved out a path that's always been centered around food, business, and relationships. First as a rep for LivingSocial, then helping grow Square's gourmet food delivery arm, Caviar, in downtown LA. He spent over 20 years working with restaurants, and today he leads dining programs for some of the biggest names in the game: American Airlines, Hilton, Southwest, Marriott, and more. Through his role at Rewards Network, where he funds restaurants by pre-purchasing customer meals up front. A longtime SGV local and Pasadena transplant, he's a proud dad, a Burbank Chamber member, and the kind of guy who owns 3 acres of land near Flagstaff just to camp and reset. Please welcome to the show, Brian Cooper. Brian, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Russell. I appreciate it.
Those are some big names there that you're helping out.
Yeah. It's kind of unique. When I talk to a restaurant, they're like, oh, how can I get on American Airlines or United or Hilton dining site? And you explain it to them. 2.5 million local dining members. And that doesn't include the business travelers and tourists that we attract to drive them into the restaurant. No discounting. So the restaurant doesn't have to worry about any coupons or discounting their name. And the benefit for the dining members, they get, 3 or 4 or 500 points for, spending $50 or $60 to eat and drink. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. It's almost like you've said that before.
Yeah, I've had to do it in my sleep, so to speak.
Well, Brian, the show is called the My SGV podcast. So let's start there. What is your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
So, when I moved to San Diego from Phoenix, I'm like, I'm going to, live here permanently and never leave. All the things I said about LA, I took back a million times. But just joking there. It was Long Beach or Pasadena, and Charter Media at the time made a big push for me to come up there to work. Never heard of Irwindale. That people drive by it on the 210 and they see the Budweiser plant. I'm like, oh, there's a media agency behind there. So I started selling local TV advertising there at Charter Media in the Irwindale office, and I moved to Pasadena.
Wait, were you close enough to smell the chili?
I was yes. You could smell the hops being cooked.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, from the Hoi Fong Food Factory, the sriracha place.
Oh, I didn't realize that they were there until years after.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
But you could smell the hops.
But I could smell the hops.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I was in tune to that because I'm Irish and I like beer. But
okay.
Yeah. Geez, I lived in Pasadena for 8 years. Got to know San Gabriel Valley very well. Alhambra, Monterey Park, Pasadena. Didn't know there was a Monrovia. Maybe I should have bought a place in Monrovia.
But you ended up buying a place in Pasadena, you said.
I did. Yeah, just loved Colorado Boulevard. I lived right behind the Michaels and the Pep Boys. I rented, and then they did a what's called a condo conversion. They started selling the units, so bought my first piece of real estate. We gutted it and fixed it up. Literally just walking up to Colorado Boulevard, hanging a right, and being able to walk into Old Town was great. Being able to walk into Lake, I miss that a lot. I've done it a million times, and walking around the Rose Bowl, I love Pasadena. I didn't want to leave, but to get a backyard and a bigger house, yeah.
This must have been in the 2000s then?
It was. This was 2012, 2013.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because prior to, I would say maybe 1994, 5, like Pasadena, that area was a little tough.
Yeah, people tell me that the 35er, that was really really rough area. And I hear stories about, even the other side of Colorado Boulevard towards Rosemead Boulevard was even rougher. And so I missed all of that.
Yeah, I remember there was like lots of prostitution on that area.
Yeah,
like you would just see
right towards the dealerships and that.
Yeah, like all of Colorado. I mean, you would never know today, right? But
right.
All of Colorado Boulevard was pretty tough.
Oh man, that's interesting. I mean, kudos for the rejuvenation. It's really interesting. And now, what is it closer to where the 710 ended? That's where it seems to be hip and happening now.
Yeah,
with the Aesop and the Lululemon and all that.
Yeah. We had former Pasadena Mayor Terry Tornick on the show, and he was instrumental in the rejuvenation of that area. For many years, the residents didn't want to change the area for fear of the history being lost there, right? So there was a way to sort of preserve those buildings while updating it, and I think they did an amazing job. Like Old Town Pasadena, or Old Pasadena, as he says it's supposed to be called, is a remarkable place.
It is. A lot of the buildings still have that charm. The avocado store in the corner where it used to be 21 yogurt or something.
Yeah.
All those old buildings there. I'm a mid-century person, but really super cool. I love the 40s, 50s look.
They're very much protected, and some of those buildings are even older.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you come across a brick building and like at the 11th or 12th level, if the bricks change orientation, that's the indication of it being, I think, from like the early 1900s.
Yeah, the old horse barns.
Yeah.
Where the horse and carriage to get stuff around, exactly.
Okay, so you made your way to Pasadena here, but
Yep.
Let's go back a little bit. Like, what kind of child were you like growing up?
So my dad was an internist. My mom was a nurse. Seemed very protected. I was a late bloomer. I didn't, sort of.
You have siblings?
I have an older sister, 2 years older. They're in San Francisco. Was going to maybe go to Arizona State, but didn't want to go to Tucson. So I love the mountains. Then went to NAU. Graduated, I'm going to date myself, 1995. Loved Sedona, so I would spend a lot of time hiking around there, the outdoors, which connected me to the 3 acres of land outside of Flagstaff later. You know, as a little kid, I would always vacation in San Diego.
With your parents, with your family.
Exactly. So we would do a road trip every summer to La Costa in North County. Had the opportunity to work in the golf industry for a small company called Carbide Golf, which then later TaylorMade bought out for their wedges, these tungsten inserts. They would put extra spin on the ball. It's kind of a hot thing at the time. So that got me to San Diego, and you know,
that's quite the shift though, from Arizona to like a beach town like San Diego.
It is. If I could go back in time, Russell, I say this every time, why didn't I buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, you know, just a little east of the 5? If I could do that over again, I would. But you know, I couldn't imagine a better experience than I had a great experience in college. That was even in a better experience. You know, starting out, you know, being on my own, having to roll my sleeves up. But then had the chance to, you know, quadruple my income, was given the opportunity to move to Los Angeles, which it's an interesting connection. So my college fraternity brother's roommate, his cousin lived in Los Angeles, worked at Charter Media and got me the job. So that was my connection, and you know, once I made it over here, I haven't left, and I love LA.
And what did you end up doing for Charter Media?
So I sold 30-second local TV ads, 30-minute long-form infomercials. So if you ever see the you know, Pasadena Cadillac 30-second commercials, or you know, Toyota local spot, half my book of business was auto dealers. The other quarter was restaurants and then furniture stores. So it was a lot of fun, you know.
I always think it's fascinating, like sales. To me, when I hear that, like I have this visceral reaction too, right? Because everyone thinks of like the used car salesman, right? So I've gone beyond that now, but I always have this like curiosity around selling something that's intangible. Like here, I can tell you like, oh, this is, you know, it's this high, it's made of this material, it's going to be this long, but you're selling nothing. Like
selling air.
You're selling air.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
so how do you like, how do you do that? How do you know?
It's funny what you mentioned, like if you sit next to a stranger and they're like, oh, you know, you're good at sales, sell me this pencil, right? That sounded very just like that. But what's important in my career was selling something that is in high demand or not, not everyone can get so easily, but a lot of people would want. So Major League Baseball playoffs, Monday Night Football, I won tons of awards selling that to the dealerships because there's a limited number of inventory. And the dealership, you know, Toyota of Monrovia wanted to get it before the other Toyota dealer, or the Honda of Pasadena. So selling that inventory was quite easy because the ratings were so high. And if they didn't sell it, well, I would just go to, you know, Kia.
Oh, okay. So there was like huge demand for what you had to sell.
Yes, huge demand. I mean, you know, I learned like, you know, on USA, the ratings were astronomical on Monday nights for wrestling. Well, I never watched wrestling, but we would get the Nielsen data on the popular shows, and I would just sell that to, you want to be here because that's where the viewership is. Okay, yeah, sign me up.
Okay, and was this fulfilling for you? Like, did you enjoy this work?
I did. It was a blast. I loved the people that I worked with at Charter Media. It was a lot of fun, making a ton of money, having a product that was fun to sell, because I was, you know, I'm also a sports fan. So that was neat to be watching a Monday Night Football game and seeing your client's ad pop up.
So one of the things that often comes up in this show is people not knowing that these jobs exist. You know, growing up and you only hear like doctor and lawyer and fireman and police officer and teacher, like, and no one says like these really, really specific jobs. So if someone is like, that job sounds cool, I want to do that. Like, how does somebody get into that?
I would say it's kind of it was a bit of luck. So looking back, even though I think it was the lady that I interviewed with, her name was Julie Seiferling, which is an interesting story. I think it was Time Warner. She didn't hire me because I didn't have enough experience. But my connection in with Charter Media was my college fraternity brother's roommate, his cousin. So Chris Higgins got me my foot in the door, got me an interview with his manager, and that helped me out. And looking back on it, who wouldn't want to live in Long Beach and you're by Huntington Beach, and it's but it just wasn't in the cards. So you make the most of it. That's, I guess, God's path for me. Wanted me to live in Pasadena. I can't get away from Pasadena. It always comes back to Pasadena. It's interesting. People have a place like that in their life.
I've thought for a long time, like the biggest benefit of any college experience is not so much the education, but the connections you make.
Right. Yeah. You can study a book and memorize it. But going and learning from, your client, learning from your boss, learning how to be a team player, learning how to manage work and personal life, and friendships, that all just kind of comes together to make you well-rounded. And let's be honest, if you have some weird energy, people can see that a mile away. So you better, here in LA especially, you better come off genuine and wear your heart in your sleeve. What's the worst thing that can happen?
And doing this, the connections that are made, they're so valuable, right? And for your fraternity brother, his word to this company, like, he knows you, he can describe your character, right? Yeah. That is so much more valuable than you on a piece of paper.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the old adage, Russell. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just got to be able to key in on that and take advantage and improve your life.
Sure. Yeah. And where does your journey go after Charter?
So after Charter Media, I worked for the before Yelp was City Search, in K-Town. So I worked there. And then after about 6 or 7 months out of the blue, I started really studying. Well, let me back up. So I worked at Charter Media, Time Warner, Adelphia, Comcast. You name them. I had about a 6 or 7 year TV advertising career. Saw everything was moving online, so started studying that. Got my feet wet with City Search, and by that point, Yelp was really kicking their butt, so to speak. And
City Search, was that just like on, like, they didn't have a mobile thing, they were just online?
They were just online, exactly.
Yeah,
didn't have a mobile thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sort of right, I remember using
and
City
you see
Search.
a lot of those stickers in the restaurant window.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so out of the blue, got a call from a recruiter for LivingSocial. And I'm like, the economy's not doing that great, selling coupons through Facebook. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. I did my interview down near Redondo Beach. Didn't think much of it, but really spoke really well with, again, Chris talking to me about SEO, SEM, Google AdWords, and things like that. So I was able to speak to that. Got the job, had a 6-year career there. We're talking about bringing on 30, 50 new accounts a month, making about $160,000 a year. That was so much fun. And that really opened up the dams as far as working with restaurants, selling, 4 or 5,000 vouchers for them, a 25 for 50, and just them blowing it out of the water. And, what was nice for the restaurant is it's called breakage. So people would buy them and not redeem them. And so that was the extra benefit, is because it's like, hey, that's it's a lot for the restaurant to give up, spend 25 but get 50, but then they would spend over, you would tell them, but they were able to make out a little bit on the breakage.
Well, what percentage is the breakage? Like if there's 100 that are bought, how many would not come?
You know what? You'd be surprised. The breakage was like 35%. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it might have been less for the as a straight guy, I learned a lot about like beauty, like microdermabrasions and massages and stuff. That had less breakage because the women were buying them were definitely going to redeem them. But for the restaurants, maybe the guy needed a date and just never got around to redeeming it. But
and they had the expiration date then.
I think it was 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so how did you eventually make your shift into specifically, only helping restaurants?
Yeah. So after LivingSocial, worked at a few tech startups, digital gift cards.
Digital gift cards?
Yeah.
Did I ever receive something like that? I think once.
Yeah.
For Home Depot.
Yeah. There was like, I wouldn't say it was a fad. There was like a push. I forget what the company's name was. They were in Seattle. They could set the restaurant up for digital gift cards. So there was a need there. Did that for a while. Worked for an Israeli startup doing high-tech property management because I've fixed up and refurbished about 6 homes.
Oh.
Yeah. And loved that. Did that on the side while I'm doing all this other stuff.
Like you're actually with, your elbow grease getting in there, or you're getting contractors in there too?
So I thought the demo was fun. So
for how long?
Yeah. So fixed up Pasadena, fixed up Sherman Oaks, fixed up the house in North Hollywood, fixed up the garage and converted that to a legal ADU. But I found out the smart thing to do was, obviously hire a licensed plumber and electrician, but everything else you can, kind of just get away with, some really good labor, smart people that know how to read blueprints.
Sure.
So basically I would piecemeal out everything, plumbing, electrical, flooring, insulation, drywall, hire these experts, do it, reach out to 3 or 4 people on Yelp. You get the most competent but best, a good price, and you run with that. And that seemed to work.
Oh. We had a guest here. His name is Chris Martinez. He has a company. He does construction, home building, ADUs and all that. He told me that when he was living in Hawaii, he bought a home that he slept in to redo it. And he learned everything on YouTube. He did all the plumbing, electrical, roof, framing, drywall.
Russell, that's, I love that. And that is incredible. And I would love to watch how he did that because, I don't know if it's because I'm half Jewish, looking at electrical and plumbing, I'm like, what? I have no chance.
He said, oh, people thought I was crazy. I was like, yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Really, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Is, yeah. I mean, he was also, I think, in his late 20s and single, so
yeah.
It is very different in life.
Yeah. He had a vision and he wanted to knock it out, and good for him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you have your hands in a lot of things, but you're also, you're well seasoned in being able to help go into sell something, but to help companies.
Yes. So, I like the old saying I say to restaurants is, I want to bring you money. I don't want to take your money. And there's a difference there. How many times, you hear a restaurant say, I paid X amount for a website and never heard from the guy. He never finished it. Spent $5,000 on Instagram and, just got a few people from it.
$5,000 on Instagram.
Yeah.
What are they buying for that?
So I think they're getting, I think Instagram calls it boosting.
Oh my gosh!
Where they boost. They
spend that much on that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Or some of them get locked into like a long agreement, and they got to stay on with this ad agency for a year.
Oh.
And it's costing them $1,000 a month. You hear horror stories with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So with me promoting them on 30 plus iconic hotel and airline dining sites, and T-Mobile and Fetch now, which I didn't know about Fetch, but it's hugely popular. If we promote them and we do the email marketing and texting and no one comes in, they pay nothing. So we only take our small fee when they swipe that registered credit card. Yeah. So that's a nice thing to say.
How do you eventually get into what you're doing now?
So, what's interesting is when I was at Adelphia, I did a short stint with Rewards Network. Didn't like it. Left to go back into a startup. But then I came back in the pandemic, met my manager, Brandon Young, who lives here in Pasadena. Said, okay, I can work for Brandon. He's not going to micromanage me, and he's really smart. And geez, I've been with the company now 3 years. I've got probably 215 restaurants that are in my portfolio. I recently met a Korean restaurant referral that's been helping me out get into the old school OG Korean restaurant owners that haven't quite let their kids take over yet, because the kids speak English and Korean, and they see me walking in and without their kids talking to me, I have no chance. I speak some Mandarin and Spanish and Armenian, but I need a little help here.
These would be the restaurants like from Vermont to, gosh, I don't even know how
Western Vermont, 2nd, 1st Street.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they do more than $1,000 a day in credit card sales minus third-party delivery apps. I can help them, and they don't use Square. I can definitely help them.
Yeah, you definitely need a Korean connection there.
For sure, yeah, it's really important. My buddy I work with is Korean, but he's Australian. Doesn't really speak much Korean. They won't even talk to him.
Brian, before we get into more of what you're doing now, we ask each guest to bring an item with them. What did you bring with you today?
I thought about bringing an award with me. It was our Team Irwindale award, which was the first award I won at Charter Media. But I started thinking about it, and I brought a picture of my 14-year-old boy, Sam.
Push in on it. Yeah, awesome.
And, why did I bring that in? Because I wake up in the morning and I do everything for him. And he's my best friend, and he makes me be a better person. And I try to be a good dad and a good man. And that's why I brought that.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
If you can impart one quality of yours to him, what would that be?
Because he's 14 and he, is on his phone, it's okay to talk to people, and TMI is okay, and it's okay to get to know people and get to talk to them, because he doesn't understand this now, but it's almost sort of like a form of therapy, just getting to know and talk to a stranger. Tell me your story. How did you get through that situation? Or, wow, I look at you and I wouldn't expect, you to be like this. Because, we like to label things here in this country and be judgmental. And, getting to know people and getting them to open up is I guess what I'm trying to say is, be a good listener too. Yeah.
Sure.
Anti-narcissism is what I like.
What is this saying? You have 2 ears and one mouth?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
In my journey, I'd say, looking back, I can see the people and experiences that have shaped who I am today, my interest. A lot of those were great leaders, I would say. Great leaders in scouting, in the military. And then I also pursued that as a topic of interest: books, audiobooks, research. What are the things or the people that helped you along your way to, improve what you do today?
Oh, Let's see. So, I've been blessed to have some really great managers, be amazing managers, be great mentors, just not with sales, but in life. And, talk to me, how was your day today? What's going on at home? Okay. Talking through things. When I call them up and bounce ideas off them, being there to listen and giving me their experience. Russell, sometimes, the experience cannot be good because someone doubted you or said that you can't do something, and you can use that as to drive you. And I would say it's a mixture of both.
I always caution myself, and I would say those that I have influence with, to that type of motivation is limited, versus to prove the people who believed in you right will always be there. Yeah. One of the leaders that I had in the military, Sergeant Poling, he's like this, tattooed guy, very stoic, and would grumble if you bothered him. Always wanted his people to be on point. That was my squad leader in Germany.
Sounds like a tiger, Mom.
And he was pretty tough. He was squared away, but very tough. And I remember waking up in the barracks one morning to the sound of the formation ending. And I was like, oh, shoot, I just missed all morning formation, right? So I'm scrambling in my barracks room. I'm trying to get, dressed, brush my teeth. And then I hear this knock on the door. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm dead, And it was Sergeant Poling. And I let him in. And he asked me with the utmost concern. He's like, are you okay? And I was like, still panicked, waiting for this ass chewing to come. And I was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I just overslept. He's like, it's okay. Just take your time, And I'm still waiting for this to come, and it never comes. And I was like, that's interesting.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Granted, I was very never late. I never did this. Right. And so he just demonstrated his care for me in that moment. And then that made me really never want to disappoint him.
Right.
Right. Versus these managers who are oh,
yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to find a way to just hide better from you.
Yeah.
But that was a lesson there, right? That I was like, wow,
almost an act of kindness.
Yeah. To just show me that he cared. And then I want to be better for him.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And I had so many of those lessons. Brian, I want to get into more of what you're doing with the restaurant specifically today. And you had offered to sort of go through with me as if I were the restaurateur. And I thought that would be sort of cool to do on the show here, because I'm still interested in learning what that's like. But before that, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Sometimes even the best of us can slip up. That's why the law offices of Scott Wormuth are here to pick you back up again.
And while they strive to get you the biggest compensation possible, oh my gosh,
their main concern is your health and recovery. They work closely with doctors and insurance companies to make sure you get the proper medical treatment.
Initial consultations are free, so give them a call.
At the law offices of Scott Wormuth, we're with you all the way.
I'm Scott Wormuth. We've been fighting for your rights for more than 40 years.
All right, we're back with Brian. Brian, when we come back from the break, we like to ask a question from this deck of cards called Icebreakers, and they're just a fun way for the audience to get to know both of us a little bit better. So I'll be answering as well. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't rest on your laurels.
Awesome. Yeah. I may have answered this on the show before, but I think it's the same answer. When I moved from a big box gym to being totally private in my strength training career, one of my clients who moved with me, he is still a accountant. And I was like, hey, where should I spend my money? Where can I put my ads? Where can I do this? I want to get all these business. And he's like, Russell, he's like, if you do that and you get all this growth, you'll miss all the things that you should have learned along the way just by growing organically. I was like, man, that doesn't help me. I need clients now. Yeah. Right. And I was like, man, that's so true. That's so true.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Stop and smell the roses a little. Yeah.
He's like, just slow down, because there's going to be things that you're going to learn along the way that are going to help you so that when you do get them, you're going to be better prepared. Right. Yeah. I was like, that is not the advice I needed, Albert. But, in hindsight, absolutely was the best advice. So if you're watching online or listening, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received? Let us know in the comments. So Brian, explain to me this scam.
Yes.
The offer that sounds like a scam.
The offer that sounds too good to be true.
That's right. Yes.
Okay, so I run the dining program for American Airlines, United, JetBlue, Hilton, Marriott, T-Mobile, Rakuten, Fetch, to name just a few. And so I go out and I find restaurants.
Wait, sorry. What is the dining program?
Sure. So a dining program. Okay. So Russell and Scott go to Chicago, and they fly on American Airlines, and they put down their credit card to pay for the flight. American Airlines Advantage is now going to send Russell and Scott an email saying, "Hey, Russell and Scott, you guys can rack up airline miles just by dining out. It's free to sign up." They keep sending you these emails, AA Advantage. You give in one day, you register with one credit card. Now, Russell and Scott are getting emails from American Airlines Advantage on where they can go out and get breakfast, lunch, and dinner locally and dine and get 4, 5, 6 American Airlines points per dollar spent, which you can then redeem later for a free flight to Hawaii like I did. And you can download the app. We've got, I think, 950 restaurants here in just Southern California where you guys can go out and dine and eat out at and rack up your points. I
don't need to have been on a flight to rack up the points.
No, you can learn about it, hear about it through a friend. You get bonus points for signing up. Then you accrue all these points. You can redeem it for a flight to, go visit family or take a vacation. People want their dollar just to go a little bit further nowadays. So like with T-Mobile, that was a big one for us. They get money back on their cell bill. And with the restaurant, the T-Mobile Tuesdays, we pay the diner 11% cash back. We pay the hotel and airline miles and the money back for the restaurant, so they don't have to worry about that. And the restaurant, we can just promote you to our dining members, which, with the marketing, they still get email marketing. We promote them. There's no setup fee. There's no hidden fee. Maybe it's, 14 to 20%, depending on what their credit card volume is. But I can do a pre-purchase, my dining members' meals up front. We'll give them $10,000 in cash for $14,000 in food and drink future receivables.
So break that down.
6 months.
Yeah, so break that down. What does that mean? What does that translate? The restaurant owner gets $10,000 in cash.
Correct. For $14,000 in future credit card receivables from our dining members. So maybe 2 to 4 new a day. And
so I'm a dining member. Like how does that work? I'm still a little bit unclear on that.
Sure.
I'm a dining member. This restaurant has taken you up on that. I go there. I'm still paying for my own food, right?
Right. You're going there with that registered credit card so that you can earn your cash back or get your hotel or airline points.
What does the restaurant have to do with for the 14,000 in deliverables?
They need to do at least $1,000 a day in credit card sales. That doesn't include third-party delivery apps. So this is people walking in or ordering carry-out using a credit card. They need to not use Square because Square encrypts their data on the back end. We can't read the dines. And 3 months bank statements and 3 months credit card statements, I can have them funded within a week.
So I'm still a little bit confused. What is the output? What is the ask of the restaurant for the 14,000? What is the ask of them?
So there's a half-page soft pull credit app that we do. I can do this in person with them. It takes less than 5 minutes. Then if they get approved, I just need 3 months credit card statements, and they're good to go. They get the 10,000, and what we ask in return is for our dining members 14,000 in food and drink, spread out over 6 or 7 months.
So that's the part. Like, what does that look like? How is that delivered?
So Russell and Scott are going to see the restaurant on American Airlines Advantage. You guys are going to walk in like a new customer. You're going to order food. There's no discounting. You're going to order food, swipe your credit card. That's the registered credit card. And then that dine is going to show up in the restaurant's dashboard that you guys dine there. Last four of your credit card, the amount you spent, the amount, spent. Last four of the credit card, the zip code that you guys live in. So we can track out-of-state tourists, which account for anywhere from 15 to 35%. And that's what the restaurant can see in their statement tab in their dashboard.
Forgive me, I'm still not hearing like how if I'm the restaurateur, now I have $10,000 in cash, and you are expecting $14,000 in deliverables. How do I give that to you?
You just keep your doors open and don't change your concept and make good food and offer good service. That's how you give it to me.
That's it?
That's it. It's spread out over 6 or 7 months, 2 to 4 new a day.
Oh, okay. So what I'm hearing is the 14,000 is when 14,000 in purchases from the guests that you send there is made.
Correct.
But I'm just operating as normal.
It's slowly dying down. Exactly. Each day I'm sending in my dining members, and that 14,000 gets chipped away, dying down.
I see. Okay, and then so once that 14,000 is done, then you're no longer sending people there.
Correct.
And then what does the restaurant do?
They can re-up. They can do marketing. They can pause. They can do whatever they want.
Okay, if they want to re-up, what does that look like?
We can do another, 10 for 14. I can do another pre-purchase with them.
It sounds so ridiculous.
I've heard this many times, and when the restaurant owner says that to me, I know that we're onto something, because he's interested, because he's like, how can this be? This seems too good to be true. But we've made it so easy for restaurants to work with us, yet they think that it's a scam. So, I'm a real person. I live here in LA. I love restaurants. I love eating. I have to work out 6 days a week and do hot yoga so I don't weigh 400 pounds. Yes.
That's such a positive for the restaurants, right? It seems like. What is the downside if there is any?
I hear a lot like, if it's a really old restaurant, like they've been around, since, I'm being sarcastic, the beginning of our country's foundation. They'll say, a lot of my regulars, might be, United, American, Hilton, or Marriott dining members, here's a great thing to counteract that. The data and the statistics are people are dining out much less. So that regular that used to come and visit you 5 or 6 times a month, they're only coming in once or twice, if you're lucky, a month. We're giving them a reason to come back in again more often because they want to rack up their points. Secondly, out of 100 people, maybe 5 are going to be your own. So let's look at the big picture here. 95 are going to be new. Or tourists, business travelers that wouldn't even know that you were here off the side road here, down on lake. That's not on Colorado Boulevard.
It still sounds so too good to be true. If I'm the restaurateur, you're going to give me $10,000. And you're going to send me customers up until that 14,000 spend is reached.
Correct.
And then if I want more customers, I'm going to say, okay, I'll take another $10,000.
Yep.
And you're going to send me 14.
Correct. Yep.
Forgive me for laughing.
No, I'm glad that you're laughing, and I'm happy to hear that you think that this is too good to be true. And I'm only one person, and I have limited bandwidth. I wish that I could reach more restaurant owners, and I could help them, because I can talk about SEO, SEM, Facebook, YouTube. I can talk about all of that. And by the way, a restaurant should be doing some things, not just relying on one thing. But it's hard right now because I know what's so inspirational for me talking to a restaurant owner is how tough they have it, and they're back against the wall, and that makes me even want to help them even more. And I told you, do I want to open a restaurant, or do I want to storm, a beachhead with Marines? I might want to storm a beachhead with Marines. That's how tough they have it.
Yes, absolutely. I went to visit a restaurateur. I won't say who it is. They're in a Yelp top 100 in the SGV. Very successful from all eyes looking in. And he's like, this is so tough. He's like, I don't have time for myself to enjoy life the way I want to. This is so tough.
I see it, Russell. It's, you feel for these people. You go home at the end of the day and we can shut off and they can't because they have to prep for the next day. They have to get up at 2 a.m. and buy. I don't know how God bless them, Russell.
Brian, you worked with restaurants for over 20 years. What's a moment where you knew this is more than just a business? I'm part of the ecosystem.
There's a restaurant that no longer exists, and it's okay for me to mention them. Cobras and Matadors on, is it Fairfax or Melrose in West Hollywood? Really popular restaurant, Cobras and Matadors. I sold them. We did a LivingSocial spend 25, get 50 in food and drink. I think we sold like 11 vouchers. That completely exceeded, and it just, was just astronomically successful.
Yeah.
And during the time when the financial crisis of, 2010, people were afraid, and, it was just a complete nightmare with the markets and people losing jobs. That got diners, their butts in seats. Yeah. So that really helped the restaurant out. And that was like, wow, okay, I'm really helping them. There's a flip side to that. So there was a baker in Silver Lake, or maybe it was Highland Park. We sold too many vouchers. And she was just like, I can't do this anymore. And just freaked out and closed her shop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, short learning curve. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Brian, what's something most diners have no idea about when it comes to how restaurant rewards program actually work?
A lot of restaurant owners don't realize that how many the consumer really does love signing up for the rewards program, the cash back, because they're loyal to a brand. They're loyal to T-Mobile, Hilton. I'm a Hilton Honors member, so I want to rack up my Hilton points. Restaurants don't realize how big of a thing it is, but it is a real thing. It skews, I would say, maybe a little bit more female, but they're the ones controlling the money in the family, and they belong to all of them, and they don't realize that.
Yeah, it's almost like a video game, right? Like they're like collecting coins, like ding, 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 like points everywhere. Same guy, actually, Albert, my friend who gave me the advice. He said his wife is always maneuvering cards around and doing all these things and collecting points, and he's like, "Why are you doing all this?" And she's like, "Look, we can take round trip first class tickets to Korea 7 times on points." And he's like, "What?"
Yeah, because it accrued, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, I took a flight to Hawaii, there and back. I just had to pay for the tax. It's a real thing.
Brian, you've helped fund restaurants through downturns and growth. What's the biggest mistake you've seen restaurant owners make?
Basically, just wait for their regulars and organic growth to keep them afloat, because that's slowly dwindling. The restaurant has an older clientele. They're not reaching out and appealing to younger generation. They wake up one day and, they have no customers.
I see that all over.
Yeah.
And most times, I don't even understand it because the food is still good, but they haven't updated anything
right
in 40, 50 years.
Yes.
And that maybe appeals to the people that were first there.
Maybe.
But maybe not to a new crowd.
Right. Yeah.
You worked at Square and LivingSocial before most people even knew what they were. What's one lesson you learned being early to the party?
There's an advantage to that because it's something new and it's tech and it's cool. And restaurants want to be the first people to try it. If it's not going to hurt them, I'm just bringing in new people. They'll go for it and they'll give me a shot. So I love that.
Yeah. Awesome. Brian, we're going to move on to the final segment of the show where we get to learn what restaurants you like to eat at in the San Gabriel Valley. So, Brian, this is what we call the SGV3, and we ask you to share your 3 favorite places to eat here in the San Gabriel Valley. So
I got a smile on my face.
yeah. So what would be your first one?
The first one is Huge Green Tree, the Chinese breakfast beef rolls.
Huge Green Tree.
Yes.
That's the name of the restaurant.
Correct.
Located where?
Which is another great place. Basically across the street from Graham Cafe.
Oh, that's true. You can't throw that in there without. Okay. No, I'm just joking. Okay, Huge Green Tree.
They're such nice people, though. It's hard for me to resist. Yeah, huge. Let me make sure.
Sure. In what city?
Huge Tree Pastry, Monterey Park, Atlantic Boulevard.
Huge Tree.
You know the new
Pastry.
Marriott they built over there?
Yes.
It's like right next door to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huge Tree Pastry.
Huge Tree Pastry. It's cash only. I would drive from North Hollywood to crispy thin dough with the beef. I mean, it's just stupid delicious. You put a little chili oil in that, it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah. That's I forget what it's called, but it has like hoisin sauce and cilantro.
Mm-hmm. Yes, freaking just an amazing snack. Yeah.
Did you ever refer to it as like a Chinese burrito or a Taiwanese burrito?
I never did that. I want to keep it original.
I think some of my friends
roll.
have said that. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, and what would be a second place?
I love the guys and the peanut butter chocolate beer over at Hop Secret Brewing.
Hop Secret Brewing.
Yeah, in Monrovia.
Okay. What was peanut butter? What?
Yeah, it's called Tongue Butter. It's a peanut butter chocolate beer.
Does it actually
stout.
taste like it?
It does. It's super delicious.
Wow.
And the guys are super nice, and they're trying to expand next door. They're across from Lord Empanadas.
Okay.
Yeah. So shout out to Ryan. Amazing, just delicious, really good beer.
So you said you're Irish, right? So how does it compare to Guinness?
So the Guinness made in Ireland tastes like a chocolate milkshake, and it's delicious. The Guinness over here is unconsumable.
You know, I'm so glad you said that. I lived in Germany for 2 years, where almost every town has their own brewery, and it's named, like their beer is named for the town. That was my first time experiencing beer, right? I was 17 at the time. And I came here and I was like, what is this stuff?
Yeah. If I see a sports bar that has like, your typical Blue Moon Guinness, Modelo, and Bud Light, I'll just walk right on by.
Well, you have a real how do I describe the look on your face? Derision towards these these beers here.
Yeah, to support local craft brewers.
Yeah.
They need help too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what's the third place?
The third place was the dim sum that we were supposed to meet at.
Sea Harbor.
Yes.
Sea Harbor.
I liked Lenasia. I like Din Tai Fung. Sea Harbor. It's just delicious. Love that place.
Yeah. That's in the old Pharaoh's building.
Amazing.
That used to be there,
So
but
good.
that's Chef Tony's restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing dim sum.
I remember when it used to be lines out the door. I haven't driven by there on a weekend, but I just went there with Will.
Yeah.
And the food was still amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Over order, for a reason so you could take it home.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and what you do with our audience. I hope restaurants will take advantage of that. And I hope to introduce you to a few restaurant owners that we know here. So
no, I appreciate it. And it's been a lot of fun talking to you and hanging out. So thank you.
Yeah. And Brian, if people want to get in touch with you or take advantage of what you do, what's the best way to do that?
Please reach out to Russell, and Russell can give you my direct number. My Instagram is BD Coops, and I'm on that a lot, and would love to help you.
Awesome. Brian, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you,
I really
Russell.
appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, there you go. Another show in the books for you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. That's such an amazing offer. I'm still smiling. I'm still, sort of blown away by it. But if you're listening to this, if you are in the restaurant business, if you know someone who is, if you have friends or family that are in, please do get in touch with me because this is a legitimate offer. This is not a scam. And just the people that work with Brian, the restaurants, these are some incredible deals and offers that you can help them with. So please reach out to us. Beyond that, though, I hope in this time you got a sense of who Brian is, right? Because I'm also digging for that. I'm digging for that in the stories and the answers that he's responding. And you can't fake your authenticity. That's always going to come out, right, in the way that you are. And since I met Brian, like, he's been a very authentic guy and just a wonderful person to speak with. So thank you for coming on the show again, Brian.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Don't forget to like and share. Don't forget to check out the MySGV Food Passport, available on mysgvfoodpassport.com. And you can find the full catalog of episodes on our website, mysgv.net. And until next week, we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us on the MySGV podcast. Check out more of our content on our website, mysgv.net. This show was produced by Scott Wormuth, directed by Russell Mano, edited by Victoria Allers, and original music by Yone OG. If you'd like to join us next week as we capture and share more stories from our diverse community, feel welcome.
Nice mother. No, kind of mother.